XBRL data quality. For those who know Toppan Merrill, this has been a topic that we have covered in depth for many, many years. I'm vice chairman of the board of XBRL US, and our team has led the creation of the Data Quality Council rules. And so this is near and dear to our heart, because one of the negatives about XBRL use for many years was how poor the quality was. The data quality rules have come in, and I'd like your comment on what you see in data quality. How has it been addressed? Where are we today, and where do you see us going?
Sure. So I think there's some trends we see. First one, generally data quality has improved across the board, and you can go to the XBRL site and see error types that they've identified. The trends are all very positive. Whether it's negative values, calculation elements, missing access, whatever, those have all improved. A couple areas just to draw the registrant's attention: company-specific extensions seem to continue to be excessive, with some created for obviously existing gap elements. So operating lease liability or property, plant, and equipment are two examples where those have obvious gap elements in the taxonomy and should be used, but yet we still see extension elements for that. But we also see quite a few companies that have specific extensions for seemingly inappropriate created COVID-related disclosures. So the FASB guidance on this should be followed, and these extensions are just simply not appropriate. We also see this for incorrect periods in Form 8K, where it basically seems like it's just a typo where previous dates are rolled over to the new Form 8K, and that's just something that seems like it could be easily fixed. Last one I'll mention is the digital assets. Those have been tagged by a few registrants as extension elements. And again, the FASB has provided guidance on which tags to use, and those tags should be used.
Okay. And what risks should the registrant be mindful of related to data quality? And let me qualify something first. There's a lot of turnover in the financial reporting role. And I'm actually curious if anyone on this call was an original XBRL preparer back in 2009, but with all the turnover, some of the rules, regulations, knowledge is not adequately being passed on. And one of the most serious ones is there's liability risk with XBRL. So if you can comment on that and then general risks, that would be helpful.
Sure. I mean, you've laid it out, Mike, on the liability. The structured disclosures have the same legal liability as the non-structured disclosures. But in terms of data quality, these errors are indicative of reporting process and control risk, and they're also associated with restatements. So that's the result of research. So this goes back to the cockroach comment. Now, that said, the data quality rules they're freely available from XBRL US, and as I mentioned earlier, they've been very effective in reducing the targeted error types. So I think the registrant should be aware that there are other error types that they should be paying attention to that are outside of the XBRL US rule base. These would be for largely subjective things like correct element selection or correct creation of extension elements, like I mentioned earlier, or correct modeling. Those are very judgmental and subjective decisions, which it's very difficult to create a rule. You can create some rules that might help you say, well, this doesn't look right, but registrants should pay attention that those judgmental areas are where we still see ongoing problems. So I think what I would suggest is that the registrants really take a look at the XBRL US Data Quality Rules Group and those freely available rules that they make available. You can go there, you can check out your own registrants' filings, you can submit a draft, and you can see how you do. I'd also encourage them to use the open source inline XBRL viewer and some of the filters there that enable people to very quickly see some of those error types. Now, in terms of going forward, Mike, enhance registrant responsibility for their structured disclosures and just paying closer attention to some of these rule types, especially the judgmental ones, that would be number one. Making sure that the tools they're using and the processes and controls they have are designed to enhance and facilitate data quality. A third item would be that they can develop additional rules, and those rules might also be included in the EDGAR submission process. So we've got a few in there now, you might see more going forward. Another topic might be anchoring for company-specific extensions, as we see in the ESMA program, and also as we see in the ESMA program, assurance on digital reports. So those might be some things you might see going forward.
One point you brought up, but I want to emphasize is, as great as the computer validation rules, the data quality rules are, they cover what a rule within a computer can isolate and find. They do not cover the whole gamut of that tagging and wrong element, wrong extensions, other nuances. I know we've spent an awful lot of time working with XBRL US in building those rules, but it still comes down to knowing what the computer validation can check and what it doesn't. And that's where, to your point, you need to focus.